Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We are from the 6th group of Social Linguistic class and we would like to do a presentation about language and gender. Before we start the presentation, I would like to introduce the members of our groups, which consist of Bunga, Kartika, Sari, Dyah Sekarwati, and myself, Salma Sabilla. I will be presenting the first material about defining gender and sex, and I will also explain a little bit about language and gender. Language and gender's main concern is to try to discover the theories and evidence that language can be sexist and with gender is different socialization practice. Differences in voice quality may be accentuated by beliefs about what men and women should sound like when they talk, and differences in verbal skills may be explained in great part through differences in their upbringing. Deficit language is used to depict the way women use the language and tend to act in serious social gatherings, due to this fact that they feel less confident in some circumstances, and they tend to show this in their utterances by using forms such as tag questions. Power relations give the tendency to people from different communities to use language differently in different contexts to exercise and show their power relations. Thus, an individual's social status and power can also dominate their choice of language. The language which is used by people has so many differences. The term language and gender refers to the relationship between male and female language. Gender differences is not only a reflection of the speeches between male and female, but also a reflection of their different living styles and attitude. Language and gender analyzes why males are seen as more concerned with power and why they desire to be leaders, while females are satisfied with their subordinate status. Males speak directly and take transferring information as the first thing, but females speak indirectly, implicitly, and mildly. For them, expressing feelings is very important. Many scholars have concern about the differences between the language of female and male. To some extent, it shows that gender differences is very popular and important. Bordeaux states in the book of An Introduction to Social Linguistics, page 315, that sex is to a very large extent biologically determined, whereas gender is a social construct. Sex refers to a set of biological attributes in humans and animals. It is primarily associated with physical and physiological features, including chromosomes, genes, expressions, hormone levels and function, and reproductive or sexual anatomy. Gender is the range of characteristics pertaining to and differentiating between femininity and masculinity. Depending on the context, these characteristics may include biological sex, sex-based social structures, or gender identity. Gender refers to the roles and responsibilities of men and women that are created in our families, our societies, and our cultures. The concept of gender also includes the expectations held about the characteristics, aptitudes, and likely behaviors of both women and men, femininity and masculinity. Gender roles and expectations are learned. They can change over time and they vary within and between cultures. Systems of social differentiation such as political, status, class, ethnicity, physical and mental disability, age, and more modify gender roles. The concept of gender is vital because, applied to social analysis, it reveals how women's subordination or men's domination is socially constructed. As such, the subordination can be changed or ended. It is not biologically predetermined, nor it is fixed forever.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Hello everyone, my name is Dyah Sekarwati. I'll explain about the sexist language, women language, and man language. Can language itself be exist? The exist language is the word that encodes sex categories, most commonly sex category, market names of people in specific occupation. For example, firemen, stewardess, and waiters. While is it not inherently sexist to make reference to the sex category of a person? The problem with such words is that they could influence the profession we see as being appropriate for only men or only women. If the unmarked form is fireman, is it possible to be a fair woman? But this is linguistically marked and suggests that the norm is for a person in this occupation to be a man. And the first is women language. And a view to that women's speech is trivial. See the Journal Innkeeper 1987. These are gossip-laden, corrupt, illogical, either euphemistic or diffusion is highly suspect, nor is it necessarily more precise, cultivated, or stylish. Lakoff 1973 divides woman language into two overall types. The first is the way women are taught to use language. The second is the way general language used treat them. And the next is man's language. Men endure in the kind of very small talk that involve insult, challenge, and various kind of negative behavior to do exactly what women do by their use of nurturing, polite, feedback-laden cooperative tone. In doing this, they achieve the kind of solidarity they prize. It is the norm of behavior that are different. Men endure more challenge, dispute, and ignore the law, try to control what topics are discussed, and are inclined to make categorical statements. In the book by James and Claire, 1993, in Wardell and M. Fuller, 2015, looked at 54 studies that address the claim that men are much more likely than women to use interruption as a means of dominating and controlling interaction. Gender is produced and reproduced in the volatile form of participation in particular communities of practice. The relation among communities of practice when they come together in overlapping communities of practice also produce gender arrangement.
Hello everyone, my name is Bunga Kartika Sari. I will elaborate the differences of language usage between men and women. In setting out a list of what calls as language variation in sociolinguistics from men and women's side, Holmes in 1998 does offer some testable claims. There are 5 of the differences of language usage between men and women. First, women and men develop different patterns of language use. Second, women tend to focus on the affective functions of an interaction more often than men do. Third, women tend to use linguistic devices that stress solidarity more often than men do. Fourth, women tend to interact in ways which will maintain and increase solidarity, while especially in formal contexts, men on the other hand, men tend to interact in ways which will maintain and increase their power and status. Fifth, women are stylistically more flexible than men. There are differences in gendered speech, some undoubtedly real but others almost certainly imaginary. Any differences that do exist surely also must interact with other factors. For example, from social class, race, culture, discourse type, group membership, etc. Bordeaux also states the differences between men and women in the usage of language. It is from the linguistic differences. First, from morphological. The adjectives such as adorable, charming, divine, lovely, and sweet are also commonly used by women but rarely used by men. Women are also said to have their own vocabulary for emphasizing certain effects on them, with the words and expressions such as so good, such fun, exquisite, lovely, divine, precious, adorable, darling, and fantastic. And another linguistic differences is from semantical. The English language makes certain distinctions of a gender based kind, such as actor and actress, waiter and waitress, master and mistress. Some of these distinctions are reinforced by entrenched patterns of usage and semantic development. Next, another linguistic differences, it is from phonological. Phonological differences between the speech of men and women have been noted in a variety of languages, especially in English. Men pronounce running with running. Women pronounce running, running. In is used in informal settings and in more formal contexts. And another linguistic differences, it is from grammatical. One particular bit of sexism in languages that has arose much common is in the gender systems that so many of them have, such as he pronoun he, she, it, as natural gender system of English, or in the French, we will find that the la, or der, die, das, it is from grammatical in German. The discussion in sociolinguistics on language and gender has been presented with the several topics such as defining terms, gender and sex, language and gender, sexist language, women's language, men's language, and the differences of language usage between men and women from homes, and the differences of language usage between men and women from Bordeaux from linguistic differences. If you have any question or opinion, just feel free to state your opinion and asking your question. Thank you for your attention. Thank you to our honorable lecturer, Mrs. Toneng. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.